Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today, we're talking about Hamzah Zainuddin's position regarding the Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia leadership. We are diving straight into, well, the heart of the opposition's current, let's call it tension. It's this whole question of succession. The leadership transition within Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia. We're talking Datuk Seri Hamzah Zainuddin, the deputy chairman, and Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin, the chairman. This is much bigger than just some internal party issue. Really, this whole dynamic could define the future of the Parakatan National Coalition and, well, by extension, the entire opposition landscape in Parliament.
Absolutely. What we're seeing is some very high-level public maneuvering. It might look like casual comments, but Hamzah's recent statements, they're strategic signals. You have to see them that way. And remember, he's making these comments while he's the opposition leader in Parliament, so everyone's watching, from the PM's office right down to every division chief wondering which way the wind's blowing.
Right. And Hamzah actually went on record, didn't he? He confirmed what most people kind of assumed, that the plan is for Muhyiddin to hand over the chairmanship to him eventually. He even used this very specific metaphor to describe it, almost theatrical, I thought.
The 4x100-meter relay race.
Yes.
Muhyiddin's the first runner, Hamzah's the second. Just waiting for the baton. It sounds neat, planned out. But, in Malaysian politics, using an analogy like that publicly, well, that's a pressure tactic in itself, isn't it? It sets the expectation for the party, for the country, that this handover isn't an if, it's a when.
But here's where the tension really comes in, I think, because Hamzah kind of undercut that sense of order almost immediately. He added this rather pointed phrase. He said the key thing is when Muhyiddin will truly want to pass the baton.
Ah, yes. Truly want to pass the baton. That phrase right there. That's basically a political admission, isn't it? It suggests, okay, maybe there's a formal agreement, Hamzah's the successor, sure, but the timing, that's all down to Muhyiddin's personal willingness, which implies there isn't really a clear timeline, no fixed schedule. I mean, if the transition was all smooth sailing, you wouldn't need to say truly want, would you? By saying it, Hamzah is basically forcing the issue out into the open. He's signaling to the party, especially those crucial division chiefs, look, I'm ready, the delay isn't me.
That really highlights the conflict because didn't Hamzah claim, quite recently actually, that he gave his full support for Muhyiddin to stay on as chairman? I remember during the party's General Assembly this year, he argued the whole succession thing should not be raised again. So why talk about waiting for a baton now if you think the conversation should be closed? It suggests maybe the quiet chats, the internal discussions, they didn't work out.
Exactly. That internal effort probably failed, and that's why it's spilling out into the public domain now. And we know this didn't just pop up out of nowhere. There were pretty reliable reports about real internal pressure building, a coordinated movement, actually. Some leaders were actively collecting signatures from division chiefs.
Right, and let's be clear for anyone listening, collecting signatures in this context, that's not like signing a petition for, better streetlights. In our political world, that's a direct challenge, a maneuver designed to really push things, accelerate the handover to Hamzah, or at the very least, force Muhyiddin to act.
It carries a lot of weight historically here in Malaysia, doesn't it? When factions inside a party start gathering signatures like that, it's a massive red flag. It signals that key players think the current leadership is shaky or that change needs to happen now. It reminds you of other times, where shifts among a few key people changed everything. Stability can disappear fast once people start counting heads behind closed doors. This wasn't just a suggestion, it was a proper warning shot.
And when you fire a warning shot like that, there's usually fallout, consequences. And we've certainly seen those recently, haven't we? With the party's disciplinary committee stepping in.
That's right. The party leadership obviously felt the need to respond to assert control. They took some pretty serious action against those seen as, leading this internal push. We saw Tasek Gilagor MP, Datuk Wan Saiful Wan Yan, actually expelled from the party, just outright expelled. And the Machang MP was frozen out, suspended from party activities for a whole term. These aren't small slaps on the wrist. They're serious punishments.
And when Hamzah was asked about this, asked if it was basically a political cleansing, he just brushed it off. He called it internal strife, something he said is common in any political party. His public line was just hoping the whole thing would subside quickly.
Calling the expulsion of a sitting member of parliament common internal strife. That's quite the spin, isn't it? That's a major power move. It's meant to show absolute authority, to scare off any other potential challenges. Hamzah minimizing it like that, It's clever politics, trying to downplay the instability while he's positioning himself as the successor.
And adding to this whole picture of instability are those persistent rumors, which even Hamzah addressed, about different power factions. Not just two sides, but maybe three. One supposedly led by Hamzah himself, one still loyal to Muhyiddin, and maybe a third around the Secretary General, Datuk Seri Osman Ali.
Yeah, and most politicians facing those kinds of rumors would, deny them fiercely. But Hamza did something different. He actually tried to frame it positively. He said having three factions just shows the party has multiple capable and recognized leaders.
Okay, but let's ask you, the listener. If you're a party member, maybe a division chief watching all this unfold, do you buy that? Does having three ambitious factions potentially pulling in different directions really signal strength? Or does it just sound like a guarantee of more infighting down the road?
It's certainly an optimistic take, maybe even denial, turning internal friction serious enough to get people expelled, into some kind of sign of depth. But I think the real picture wasn't painted by Hamza's spin. It was revealed much more starkly by the reaction of one of those disciplined MPs, Wan Saiful Wan Yan. He didn't exactly go quietly.
No, he didn't. Juan Saiful's response was pretty explosive, wasn't it? He specifically blamed the split not really on Muhyiddin directly, but on the people around Muhyiddin. That felt significant.
Very significant. He publicly pointed fingers at individuals in Muhyiddin's inner circle.
Yeah.
He specifically named Datuk Seri Osman Ali and the information chief, Don Faisal, as the ones causing this high-level rift. That's quite different from just challenging the leader. He's challenging the machinery around the leader, the operational control.
So by naming Asman and Faisal, Juan Saiful seems to be suggesting maybe the problem isn't Muhyiddin not wanting to step down eventually, but perhaps his close advisors are blocking things. Maybe resisting Hamza's path to succession for their own reasons.
And Wan Saiful didn't stop there. He made his own position crystal clear by publicly urging Muhyiddin to step down quickly. Now, and this is where you see the real contradictions piling up, isn't it? You've got Hamzah saying full support for the chairman, but then you have this expelled MP who's clearly not on board with the current setup, openly demanding the chairman resign immediately. That kind of open defiance, it just underscores how deep this split really is. The fight seems to be about who really controls things around the chairman. Path to succession isn't just about waiting, it's about overcoming the influence of that inner circle.
So, okay, let's step back. We've got a promised handover, but with uncertainty. We've got pressure through signature campaigns, we've got harsh disciplinary actions, and now public accusations that the leader's own circle is causing problems. What does all this mean for the opposition going forward?
Well, one thing is undeniable. The whole question of leadership succession in Parti Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia is now fully out there. It's become a political weapon. You have Hamza's public signaling, that whole waiting game narrative. Then you have the open resistance, the specific accusations from people like Wan Saiful. It guarantees this issue isn't just going to vanish. The pressure is on. And frankly, until that baton is actually passed, clearly and decisively, the opposition bloc might be defined less by how it challenges the government and more by its own internal struggles, its own instability.
A political relay race indeed, but one where the runners seem to be jostling over the baton and maybe even arguing about whether the first runner should have finished his lap already. Fascinating stuff. Thank you for joining Wawa Sandwire. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.